Hello everybody, I wish I've had a little more time to make videos recently, but I've been insanely busy with work. And I haven't had the normal amount of time at work that I would do, let's just say, maybe other things. So that's why you're going to see a little more live gameplay / live tips and all that, not organized videos. Some videos I do probably want to mention coming up. I know we're talking a long time ago. I think even before I went on my vacation, I did bring shovels. By the way, real quick here, this is probably about the amount of supplies you want to bring at the start of the game. You don't have to oversupply for the pure fact that, for the most part, if an individual gets really messed up or dies, this is the early game, everyone is very low resolve. I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but for the most part, as long as you get through the dungeon and you didn't plan on keeping that style of character, you can lose somebody. I've gotten in trouble in the past for saying that because they're like, you should never lose anybody, but the reality is, the earlier levels are indeed the level you want to essentially get all of your mistakes out of the way, because it gets significantly harder and much more time consuming the higher the level you get up. Now let's just talk about what I did right here real quick. I focused the stress damage dealer. Why is that? Out of Vestal, pretty much HP is not a problem, and also early game your stress damage will increase pretty much way quicker than physical damage will. So I always take down the stress damage dealers. What do stress damage dealers do? For the most part, they get you to afflictions. You don't want to be putting people in facilities for stress heals. Your people get full HP after every week. So even if you limp out of a place with like 3 deaths door and everyone below like 5 HP, they all get back to full health. However, your stress stays, the afflictions stay, so it's not very good. That's why we want to try to avoid as much stress damage as possible. And what you saw me trying to do right there is I wanted to stun or at least send him back to the third row here to do his weaker ability, which he did and missed. Stumbling Scratch has a terrible accuracy and pretty pitiful damage, to be honest. So that's why you saw me right there. And once again, I'm actually going to try it again. The reason for that is I really just kind of want to get, it's not a lot of stress, but to Cry Havoc, if I want to keep these 4 individuals, which I do, I'm at the point in my new campaign here, I want to start trying to keep new individuals. At the end of the day, if someone gets an affliction or has really bad negative quirks, which I don't think anyone here does. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, no one has horrible quirks. So I'm pretty much going to try to keep everyone here. I certainly want to keep the stress down. Why is that? Because after you complete a dungeon, your negative quirk is actually calculated by the amount of stress you have. So the lower amount of stress you have and a successful completion of the dungeon, well, you'll do less negative quirks, which means less time into the sanitarium. And once again, you'll see me right back here. These are technically the damage dealers of the party, but I really don't care too much. I really want to get to these guys right here. So I have an option here. I already stunned, so what I'm going to do is actually pull this one forward and mark and try to blow up the Hound Master. And the reason why I wanted to pull forward is because if that didn't kill, I could maybe try to get a stun chance on the Acolyte later. Now back to my channel, a lot of these guys miss. They're not particularly deadly. They can be painful, but for the most part, not too bad. Especially in the early level here. I'm just going to do Rain of Stars on the weird off chance I get to attack with someone else. Sadly resisted, and she got to go anyways. Sometimes we'll have stress damage dealers just focus one individual, and if you don't really have a party that's good at stress healing one person, you pretty much just take the brunt of that damage and move on with it. So it's kind of a shame that this guy's getting dumped on in terms of the stress damage, but at the end I may not keep him depending on how high he gets, and sometimes it just happens in the early game. You don't have the skills to stress heal, and you don't necessarily have the speed and items and equipment to outpace individuals, so you might just have to suck it up and be like, you know what, there wasn't a whole lot I could do other than taking an Jester or a Crusader and babying that guy through the whole dungeon. It's just not really a luxury you have, and once you learn to accept that, you learn to let go of people a little quicker than maybe you normally would. Now all these guys just go and heal. Like I said, there was a video where I was going to do like top 10 most annoying attacks or damaging abilities. I would still eventually like to do that, but I think instead of getting my normal gameplay ones, I am going to, that was actually a mistake. I should have hit him, because if I ever got a chance to stun this guy, he would double bleed out. So it's a small error. It shouldn't really result in too much more horrible damage, but it is possible that because yeah, so the stun resist is higher now. So like I said, it was a kind of a misplay. It should have been damage on this guy's stun on this one, but for the most part, we might be able to punch back here and force a worse skill out. Granted, dies with the DOT and goes forward, so maybe unlucky in terms of which one got to go first. But at the end of the day, it's really not that bad. Like I said, it's a high level misstep. In the end, it usually doesn't cost you too much, but on the off chance that a critical would have come, or now I have to put more damage into this one because I overkill this one. Those are just small things you eventually want to game plan out ahead, where you want to look at where your enemy's going, where are you going. Just thoughts to keep in mind there. But yeah, I do want to do the top 10 most damaging / annoying abilities, but I'll probably have to do it via the wiki on the internet, because trying to get all those skills recorded and enough of them recorded, I don't know. It's really just a little too much in my honest opinion for my current workload. Hopefully, and I hate to say it, they are not having a great time finding a replacement for the one individual. I know that's not exactly your guys' problem or care, but what it means for me is about probably an extra hour every day. And I know it's only an hour, well, an hour, but that's an extra hour. I have to stay there. I am actually, it sounds kind of funny, but I am slammed at work, so I have no time to really think about much other stuff than work. So I'm not able to like write scripts or really think about the top 10 abilities. So when I get home, that's essentially when the work can begin. I gotta admit, some days I am spent. So that's where that's at. But in the meanwhile, we can still pull out some fun videos, useful videos. And replaying the campaign has actually been a rather, what I want to call, not therapeutic, but oh man. And sometimes this happens, guys. You get one person who gets all the crits, all the stress damage abilities, and like I said, you just get to the end of the dungeon and you go, nope, not keeping them. And it's perfectly okay. Sometimes you just have to say it, like, I am not keeping them at the end. And it's okay. It's the early game. You don't have a lot of stuff. It's gonna happen. Don't be afraid to let go in the early game. Now, you eventually have to move out of that mindset. Wait, real quick. 6, yeah, 7, yeah, okay. What we're going to do is actually punch them, stun them, hopefully push them back. Yep, okay, cool. But yeah, like I say, eventually you want to get out of that mentality, but definitely for a good chunk of Apprentice, depending on which speed you want to take, you can probably dismiss a hero once a week and be just fine. Even 2 heroes a week would probably be okay. There's not really what I'll call a proper number in which you should be dismissing people. It's really up to you in your own flow. So I don't want to define that for you. So, oh man, he's one DOT away. Hopefully I get to go and Hound's Harry first. Now, I could attack directly, but I do want to eventually kill both of these guys. Now, if I get lucky, yeah, so we'll do that, 3 to 5. Oh, I missed that 90%. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's part of being low level. I'm purposely not upgrading people. I have a couple of skills upgraded, but oh man, like I said, sometimes one person receives all the brunt, and that's a 10% mischance right there that caused that crit to hit me. So it's like one of those things where it's like, man, oh shoot, that's right, these things don't, that's the oh man, okay, well, it's a shame, I was getting ready to yeah, so I'll show you how to handle this scenario now that they're bad. And I'm actually going to go get the rest of, yeah, I'm actually going to go around. And normally I would disarm with the bounty hunter, but I'm going to try to go greedy here. Nah, greed didn't work. That's a choice you got to make, whether you're greedy or not, because I could have gone from 24 to 16, but now I, you know, obviously I'm at 40. But it's a pretty big difference if I would have gotten it. And Vestals I would like to keep around. And at this low level, you could argue it was probably statistically a bad chance to do it. And, oh, that's another thing I just did. So, we're just gonna go back now. I did realize the obstacle there. So either way I would have gone, I would have ran out of a shovel, correct? Yeah, I would have ran out of a shovel. Backtracking through places you've been, it causes a little stress, but it's not the worst. So I have an 80 and a 41 here. And that's just going to happen, because once you run into like Acolyte combos, or you just get a fortunate amount of crits all on the same person with no single strong stress heal, Because the only real stress heal I have is -2 across the board, and that's a percentage-based chance. So you figured I'd have to do it like 40 times on this guy and hope he never got stressed again. Clearly we're not bringing this dude back down to earth, you know what I mean? Like, we're not getting 40 opportunities to cry havoc. So that's one of those scenarios where you just need to be like, yeah, let's be a little realistic about our situation. It's just not happening. So in those scenarios, that's when you have to do, I guess, I don't want to say like a risk assessment, but you do need to decide. You need to be like, well, you know, he's so far gone that he's just not going to be. The Vestal's in the sticky situation where a couple of crit heals or kills on bodies, you could get her back down to maybe like 30 if you wanted to, and 30 stress isn't terrible. You could stick her with a Crusader. And the reason why I'll cry havoc here is because I'm keeping these 3, so I'm hoping for, okay, I didn't get it down the row quite. I would have preferred, yeah, you're dead. Once again, I don't really want to heal anybody. I don't need a heal, so let's try for control so I don't get critted on, and let's try to kill these guys off. I do actually want to get about 1 more turn, because I can actually reduce this a little more with the Houndmaster again. So I say I want to kill him, and we'll see how I feel about this guy. I'm gonna turn the torch off, and I'm just gonna blow him away. Since, oh man, another that sucks. Okay, we did get him, but that miss could have resulted in someone else getting smashed again. Not something I particularly wanted to do. Double torch is kind of a shame. I was hoping to get like just a citrine or something out of that. That's why I killed the torch there before the fight ended, but we kept the torch killed in case there was loot. But there was no loot in that as well, so not exactly a great ending RNG. However, the idea is there, and you will eventually be rewarded, which is why you will see me do it. It's not like it always fails. So yeah, so let's just see what the quirks were. Faithless, that's fine. Evasive, that's actually pretty good. Backtracker, decent. And Klepto, definitely gone. Like this guy, there's not a chance, and I'm going to show you why it's okay. So this individual has, well, the bounty hunter has 80 stress. Klepto, I mean, those 2 things alone in the early game are just beyond, like, yeah, no. So you get rid of them, you just double check, you go, do I have another bounty hunter? You go, nope. So what you can do is get one right away, or you can select someone else, but I'll just get another one. Well, you know what, there is no real harm. And then actually that Vestal just took all that. This is free tonight, so you give them the best stress heal, which is lucky. Now, it doesn't always happen, and boom, there you go. So now we've taken care of. We got plenty of deeds here, so we can go over here if we want. We can get the blacksmith up. We can reduce the cost, or we can come back over here. If I really wanted to have one of these guys, I could upgrade the stagecoach to a 26-man roster, giving me 4 more. We are on week 14 right there. So on week 14, I don't have like a huge amount of gold here. I got a couple of decent items, and I could sell like off the occultist thing. I could sell this thing. You know, there's a couple of stuff I could go around and sell and like pretty boost up my money. I should just do always right now. 10% trap disarm, like the disease one. I'm not using an antiquarian. I don't think I have one. I haven't seen one in a little bit. So, and I don't really use 4-speed if below, don't really care. Crusader, don't really. So, there you go, boom. For the most part, I just popped in an extra $11,000, not bad. So, what can you do with that 11 grand? Well, before we start buying stuff, most likely this will be the next place we go to. So, we'll do that. I still have some deeds left over, let's keep those around. We can go up to the guild here. I actually already got that. Wow, I was really trying to reduce price. So, that's something to consider. I don't really care about the Abbey. I'm actually kind of surprised I put one in there. I was wondering if that's for that. So, because the Sanitarium already has 2, and that's where I want to be. So thank you for watching. I hope this kind of helped, because now we could theoretically go back in here and be like, oh yeah, now we got more speed and more crit chances and all that stuff. So that's how you do a little bit of the early game. Like I said, it's okay to let people go sometimes. It's just going to be part of the game. And upcoming videos here, I am going to do actually one more wield, and then I will be doing, I think it's the hag and then the pounder. So I want to do the pounder. I'll try to find a fun way to do the hag, but in the meanwhile, I hope you learned a little bit of tips there about that. If you want a comparison to the Flage, honestly, it's like the Plague Doctor, essentially. So the Plague Doctor's not in the ruins, all that stuff. So thank you so much for watching and enjoy.